If you're confused about the new ETA visa to get into England and you have dual citizenship for the UK and for Australia, I'm going to break down everything you need to know to make sure that you can get into the UK without any problems. Hi, my name's Annie and I'm a dual citizen of England and Australia, and I have lived in Australia for 15 years. I run the popular website called London and Sydney, which is all about helping expats move over to Australia, as well as providing amazingly detailed travel guides for Aussies and Brits to travel around the country. Recently, the UK have changed its laws on how you can enter the country with a new ETA visa. But what does that actually mean if you are a dual citizen like I am? Now, the advice out there is a little bit confusing, so I'm going to share with you everything I've learned from looking at the UK government website. Just so you know, I'm not a migration agent. I do not work in visas or anything like that. So I'm just providing everything I've personally learned to help you guys understand it a little bit better. So from the 25th of February 2026, the UK is issuing an ETA visa, which is an electronic travel authorisation visa, which allows you to enter the UK. You need to be able to prove if you have a British passport, an Irish passport, or a certificate of the entitlement to the right abode. If you are a British citizen, but you've been living in Australia for years and you've been travelling back and forth on your Australian passport, you'll now need to get a British passport to be able to travel back and forth from the UK. This means you cannot travel on your Australian passport any longer, and you can't get an ETA visa because you are a British citizen. If you have a family emergency while you're living in Australia and you need to rush back to the UK quickly, you need to make sure you have a valid British passport. This means there are no excuses, there's no exemptions for anybody who have these awful circumstances, which I know is terrible in itself, but you actually need to have a valid British passport. So make sure you renew your British passport now to avoid any problems if you have any emergencies that you need to go back to. So if you ended up moving to Australia and you've since had children over here and your children are technically Australian, your children are also British because they have at least one British parent. This means your children will need to get a British passport. They will not be able to enter the UK on an ETA visa with their Australian passport. They will need to have a British passport. If you can't be bothered to renew your British passport and you just want to be Australian and you don't want anything more to do with the UK, you can technically denounce your British citizenship. This is actually really expensive. So if you don't want to get the British passport and you just want to stay on your Australian passport, you'll have to go through quite a lot of hoops to do that. So here's what you need to do today to make sure that you can enter the UK without any problems whatsoever. Number one, check to see when your passport expires. That's probably the biggest thing you need to do right now. If it expires in a month's time or in 6 months' time, whenever it is, make sure you get it renewed so that if you do end up having any of those emergency situations where you have to rush back, you'll have a valid passport. If you cannot obtain a new passport in time, it's best to look into the certificate of entitlement for the right abode. Make sure you check the UK website for this to make sure that you have everything, that you just keep up to date with any new updates that are coming out. Check out Smart Traveller or check out the UK government website. If you know anybody who is, please send them this video so they understand what they need to do going forward to be able to enter the UK. I'll keep updating you as time goes on. If you have any questions or concerns, please drop them in the comments below and I'll do my best to answer them for you. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll be back soon for more videos.